But this is a move of an idiot. Let's be. This is something similar to Michael Schumacher orchestrating the departure of Jean Todt.
Yeah, it would have been ruthlessly stupid.
And this is something that's going to piss off a lot of Max fans, because if there is truth to the fact, and I think there is a lot of truth to it, because if Max thought Horner was valuable to the team, he would have put his foot down and Horner was not going anywhere. He has had a role to play here for sure.
Well, Max could have put his foot down at any point
100%.
here. Yeah,
And the funniest thing was, so again, the great Dutch publication. So they put, as soon as the whole thing was done, they again put out he put out another report where it said the thoughts or suggestions that the Verstappen camp had anything to do with Horner's ouster is ludicrous.
Oh, come on.
And my reaction was that, okay, so the Verstappen voice piece is saying that Verstappen did not have a role to play in something that could utterly backfire. How convenient, isn't it? But for me, the problem is that, because what does it tell you about? And it's not only limited to Max as well, because I think even Lewis also comes into the picture. But what benefit is there when a driver ends up acting as a team manager? Because that's what he's doing. He's meddling. He's not doing his job. He's saying that I don't want this person in place. I want a person who I prefer, or because I hate this guy, get him out of the way and I'll stick with the team. That's the message that he's giving out.
It just tells you that this, like, I genuinely just think this tells you that a lot of this has nothing to do with performance, because
it's not.
No, because if this had anything to do with performance, why would Helmut Marko still be there? You know what I mean? Like that to me is the proof that performance is not the key priority. It's just keeping certain people happy.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, like, the performance, as Maxwell knows, isn't going to change overnight. So it's clearly a lot of political kind of. It's clear as well that Jos has probably just convinced Max that, look, he's the problem. We have to get rid of him, And to be fair to Max as well, Max seems over the course of his career, very much just focused in the on-track performance. But it's just going to be interesting now to see how he reacts when, essentially for 18 months now, he's been convinced by everyone around him, more than likely, that we've got to get rid of Horner to fix things. And if things don't turn around, then what does it tell you about Max as someone who has? I don't think he's dumb. That's the first he's
thing
definitely
that
not an
comes
idiot.
to my mind.
Like, he's definitely not an idiot.
But this is a move of an idiot. This is something similar to Michael Schumacher orchestrating the departure of Jean Todt.
Yeah, it would have been ruthlessly stupid.
Yeah.
The problem is I think that the difference between, let's say, a Schumacher and a Verstappen here, and I think this is one area where
the lack
Schumacher,
of Verstappen.
Yeah. Well, that's two differences. Yeah, but this is one area where Schumacher had such longevity over his career of being able to kind of go from one team to the next and help them succeed and whatnot. And even like, he didn't perform amazingly at Mercedes, as we all know, at that end of his career, but he did do a lot to help Mercedes develop, right? The thing is, I think Verstappen has always worked, especially because you have to think, like, he came in at such a young age where he's basically, I'll focus on the driving and giving my feedback there, and I'm going to let my team I trust in this team.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's stupidity as much as just that general human thing of, we kind of build a team around us and we put utter confidence in that team. Yeah. And he's probably got utter confidence in his father, who has, as much as I hate Jos, to be fair to him, gotten him to where he is, or gotten him to the grid. He's made some bad decisions after that, but he got him to the grid. Helmut has helped him over the years. All of this team around him has essentially got him to a ton of world championships and, millions and millions of dollars every week, to be honest, right? So they can probably convince him that, look, we know what we're doing and we know Horner's the problem. And he probably just puts a lot of faith in them. And again, I think it's stupidity but I also understand where he's coming from, in that it's not stupidity from his point of view. He's got a team around him that he trusts and he's hoping they'll come back. In the same way that,
he's a 4-time world champion. He's been in sport for more than a decade. He's close to 30 years of age.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
You'd think he'd know, isn't it?
Sure. Yeah. But then
for
70
me,
million
why-
Americans voted for Donald Trump. You think at least half of them would know better. But
I mean, you would have voted for him.
yeah, I would have. But the option was between
But
a turd and a punch in the face. So
Which one was which one is which?
I don't know. Yeah, they're both.
I'd take anything but Donald Trump.
I don't
any
know.
day.
I think both of them are equally terrible. But that's a different conversation.
That's a different
Yeah,
conversation. You know why it scares me a bit the way Max has gone about it, because I'm slightly fearful of his future. Every team on the F1 grid has seen what has gone on, and look, people are not stupid. Everyone has seen. I think you might have read it. Red Bull is not a team before 2024. It was never a team whose secrets came out.
Yeah.
It was never a team that had that. Never.
Yeah.
Since 2024, Telegraph has basically become the gossip column of Red Bull. Mm-hmm. That's what Telegraph is.
It's become the Italian media of Red Bull, basically.
Everything, every single detail comes out. And first of all, look, the problem was they gave too much power to Max. And once Max had too much power, that power went to Jos. And what Jos did was yap around, leaked everything, told everything out. Whatever, look, he's getting some money out of it as well, for sure. That's how these things work. If that is happening, you've broken the fabric of what made Red Bull successful. And I'd done this video just at the start of 2024, January 2024, which was why Red Bull is currently, why basically Drinks Company beat every top team in Formula 1. And the reason was stability, lack of politics, keeping, always having an elite talent in the team, and most importantly, no leaks.
Yeah.
The reason why I used the no leaks thing was because that's the nonsense that happens with Ferrari.
But Red Bull was also just the absolute perfect makeup of an F1 team, as we discussed earlier, which was Dietrich like genuinely loved racing. Like he was genuinely just a fan of racing. And he essentially put a great team of people together and he gave them full backing. Even if, like, there was points where throughout the career,
31-year-old kid was brought on as a team principal.
But there was points throughout that where you could kind of almost see that the team had to kind of convince him of things. And the stories I've always heard from everyone at Red Bull who's talked about things like this, and from Newey to Horner, has always been he was essentially not really sure the idea was a good idea at the start. But no matter, even if he was still not sure of the idea by the end,
it was supposed to be
but even if he wasn't sure of the idea by the end, if it was Horner, Newey, and Helmut saying, "Look, we need to do this," he was okay. I trust you guys. Go for it.
Yeah.
And the Red Bull board, since Dietrich has died, has done the exact opposite of that.
Yeah.
And that is why this team is going to fall apart. It's not going to be like the Horner being fired now is just, I think, the final nail in that coffin of. There's no going back now, and it's going to be years of just a mess.
DNA is dead. Tomorrow, if Max goes on and has another moment similar to what he had in Barcelona, would you have Lauren Mackey's going out with those screenshots and everything and sitting the media down and explaining why my driver is correct? No, he won't. That's when Max will realize who he lost. And I think it's very, very...
You know what's also unfortunately going to happen now for the next 3 to 6 weeks?
What?
Red Bull's going to have some decent performances.
No, they won't.
I'll tell you why.
Because
this is what happens in Formula 1. There'll be 3 to 6 weeks of decent performances where all of these people who've been calling for Horner to go over the last while will seem vindicated. And then all of a sudden it'll be like, why is everything falling apart so quickly? What's happened here? This is just
nothing else.
Every time in Formula 1.
There's a basic reality of Formula 1 which people do not want to understand.
Everything lags.
It's not a 2-minute noodle.
But that's the thing. Everything lags, though. Like the results that you're seeing at Spa, for example, are the results of decisions made 6 months ago.
Exactly.
So it's going to be interesting to see, like, 2026, because that's going to start being the results of Mekis, you know? So, or Mekis.
Not even that, because the entire PU thing is...
Yeah, decisions Christian has made and stuff as well. So
look, if the Verstappen family has gone ahead and said that, okay, look, guys, I want to retire at Red Bull. I'll give you my 3 years. We are going to struggle a bit. We have some issues, whatever, but we'll power through it. If that is the contract, fine. I would be more than happy. Maybe if the lead driver is saying I'll give you my commitment of 3 years, fine. But if that's not the case, if in 2026 at the start of the season Max is looking around for a seat,
But even if Max does that,
I think if that happens, Oliver Minchalaff is the dumbest person in the world because
sure.
he would have nothing.
But even if Max signs up for 3 years, like Max isn't signing up without clear performance increases. So it's going to be a case of like,
I don't know what he's going to do.
I just don't see any situation where Max signs something where he can't get out of the contract if they completely, like if we get in halfway through 2026, right? And the board goes, right, we've got a new team principal coming in now. You know, like at that point, I don't see why Max doesn't have a performance clause.
Both, right? CEO and team principal.
And team principal. Yeah. Alan Permain is taking over as team principal of Racing Bulls. Yeah. And I guarantee you it'll be, look, maybe I'll be proven wrong here and maybe it'll turn out Mekies is absolutely brilliant. I mean, that could happen.
He can be brilliant. It's just that we've not seen it yet.
But also,
I'll be honest, we haven't seen it yet.
Sure, and he's been around a long time. You know,
he was with Ferrari for a few years.
That's the question you've got to ask yourself as well. Is like, okay, he was with Toro Rosso, right? He didn't get promoted up from there. He didn't get brought across to the Red Bull team. He went to the FIA. He went to Ferrari. During his time at Ferrari, there was a lot of people called up to team principal. Ferrari never saw him as the guy. When he went back to Red Bull, he wasn't brought into the Red Bull team as a number two, say a Jonathan Wheatley type. Peter Bear. Yeah. So if no one has had the fate so far, what's changed?
It's a makeshift position. It's not that they see him as someone who...
Sure, but who do they swap that out with then if this goes wrong? Look, again... Maybe
it's
we'll
the same thing,
wrong.
Right? It's basically similar to what the Ferrari nonsense is going to be because
maybe he'll do a brilliant job. Would be
either ways. If
he does a brilliant job, that to me would be a gamble that happened to pay off as opposed to a well thought out strategy. Yeah, that would be like hey, we put some fucking putty on the wall and the wall hasn't fallen down yet. You know, like. Brilliant. Not we crafted this wall from the start to be perfectly engineered. You know, this.
Yeah. And tell me something, by the way. What's your just final take on Verstappen's future? What do you think is going to happen?
I think he stays until the end of 2026. I don't know what happens after that because it very much depends on performance. But I think he's signed up to stay for 2026. I would hope he has because otherwise there's absolutely no logic in this at all. Like the only reason to kick Horner out is to keep Verstappen for a foreseeable future. And that does seem to me like a very bored, thought out decision of, well, Verstappen's the reason for our success at the minute, according to us. So let's keep him and get rid of that guy that Verstappen clearly doesn't want here. I will make one other prediction as well that I do think this could be, unless he wants to stick around post 2028, this could very well be his last championship then, because I don't think Red Bull's going to do particularly well next year. And the problem that I've said for a while with him kind of sticking and not doing a sabbatical or anything like that is Formula One's very short-sighted. At the end of the season, you're going to have a new world champion. He's going to be the new thing, especially if it's Piastri and not Lando, who's been around for a while, because Piastri will then become, can this guy go on a run of championships? If McLaren are winning next year, then that door is going to be closed because they're going to be banking on Piastri.
Yeah.
And if Mercedes are the best next year and beat McLaren, and it's likely George then who wins the championship, at which point George is the new hot thing in Formula One, and Toto's going to be like, well, we have a world champion now who's performing,
and
we don't need
grown
Max.
Up by then.
Yeah, and we don't need Max anymore. And anyone who doesn't think that's the case, go back and watch Formula One. That's how it's always gone. You know, look how quickly Verstappen has become the greatest driver in Formula One history by so many people, right? Yeah. And I think he's up there. Me and you still don't think he's the greatest, but he's definitely high up on that list. Yeah. But look how quickly that happened. And as I just did in a video, how quickly that same thing happened for Vettel, and how quickly Vettel went from being...
By the way, guys, check that one out. Yeah. It was a nice one. I saw it.
How quickly it went from Vettel being the next Schumacher to, yeah, but Vettel's not even as good as Hamilton. You know, like those conversations in Formula One happen so fast. So
you know what? There's a lot of Alonso at Ferrari thing that has happened. That's because if you remember, Alonso was instrumental in getting who fired at Ferrari? Aldo Costa, which was the next team. Yeah. Aldo Costa went to Mercedes. And what did he do there? He built the 2014 turbo hybrid Mercedes. So be careful what you wish for. And I just hope what Max has not done here is he's not only burned the bridges with a lot of key people. He's made, at least for now, he's made himself radioactive in certain ways. Because it's not that Max alone is coming. He's coming with a lot of baggage. Teams will still be interested. Alonso still has teams that are interested in him.
Oh, Max will always be. Max is a 4-time world champion now, and it's the same as Vettel, Alonso, Button. As soon as you get your first world championship, Well, look at Raikkonen. Like as soon as you get your first world championship, even if Max does, in the unlikely situation that Max's kind of sheen wears off, you know, he stops winning championships. Red Bull, they're really shit. He sticks around for a while, doesn't even win any races for a season for whatever reason.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden,
is very possible. If 2026 is a season where he doesn't win a single race,
Formula One is 90% about the car, and people just don't want to believe that. So if he does that sheen
it is 90%
will wear off.
car only for drivers that are not their favorite. That's all.
Yeah.
Anyways.